There's been a breaking update in the Karmelo Anthony case.
And this is a big one.
Judge Roach has been officially recused from this case.
And honestly, it is all the judge's fault. He has to blame himself right now.
That means that he will no longer preside over Karmelo Anthony's future and over this case.
This is being reported by Teslyn Figaro, who is clerking on the case with the Ben Crump team. And according to her, the very next step is a motion for a new trial.
Judge John Roach, he went on TV bragging, he got it right, he got it right. Well, no, he got it wrong.
Now, the thing is, when they had this hearing today, all they really had to do was play the interview that the judge did.
It was unconstitutional.
All they had to do was play the interview that the judge did. In June 2026, a Texas jury handed down a 35-year murder sentence to Karmelo Anthony for the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. The case seemed closed. But just 2 months later, the entire legal proceeding was thrown into complete chaos, not because of a newly discovered witness, and not because of a piece of forensic evidence. It happened because the trial judge made a single catastrophic mistake outside the courtroom. He gave a television interview. This is the story of how an 18-minute media appearance stripped a Texas judge of his power and changed the trajectory of a high-profile murder appeal forever.
It was an easy decision, and I'll tell you why. My primary goal in any case is to make sure that the defendant and the prosecution gets a fair trial. Period. I had to do a balance between the media's right to know and to be able to report what's going on, because I think that's extraordinarily important. I think it's important that the general public had access to the courtroom and to see what was going on.
Do you have a personal relationship with the Metcalfs?
I wouldn't know Mr. Metcalf prior to this trial if he walked up to me and said hello.
Did the jury get it right?
Yeah, they did. You know why? Because they were picked based upon the law. They listened to the facts. That happened here in this very courtroom, and they got a verdict. Or as long as I follow the law, I sleep well at night. I don't think it's my job to feed social media or the media. He seems like a nice young man who committed a crime, and he understands today, more than any day before today, the consequences of committing a crime like he did.
This will be Judge Roach's last big murder trial. His service ends in 6 months.
In 2025, Austin Metcalf was tragically stabbed to death. The investigation led straight to Karmelo Anthony, resulting in a tense, highly publicized trial in Collin County, Texas. By June 2026, the jury made their decision: guilty of murder. Judge John Roach Jr. presided over the trial and sentenced Anthony to 35 years in prison. In standard legal procedure, a defense team immediately files post-verdict motion, usually pushing for a retrial. This period is incredibly delicate. The case is technically still pending, meaning the rules of the court still strictly apply. Just 2 days after the verdict, Judge Roach sat down for an 18-minute interview with local news station WFAA. During the broadcast, he openly discussed the trial and explicitly stated that he believed the jury had reached the correct verdict. While that might seem harmless to an outsider, after all, the trial was over, legally. It was a massive error. Under Texas judicial canons, judges are strictly forbidden from making public comments about pending or impending cases that might suggest they aren't neutral. By validating the verdict on television before the defense could even argue their post-trial motions, Judge Roach gave the defense exactly what they needed: concrete proof of an appearance of bias.
Major update in the Karmelo Anthony case. Judge Roach has been officially recused from this case and no longer serves over Karmelo Anthony's trials. Evidence was heard today in the Karmelo Anthony's case where his civil rights were trampled on during his first case. Now that Judge Roach has been recused, there will be a new judge appointed over the future of the cases. This was the first step. We still have to get Karmelo a new court date through an appeal. But this is a time to celebrate, and there must have been enough evidence to prove that Judge Roach needed to be recused. Therefore, there must be a good chance that Karmelo is going to get a second trial.
You know how it goes in Collin County. They were trying to keep Karmelo in prison for the 35 years, but he is getting a new trial. There are reports that people are clapping and cheering outside the court building. Now, we're not sure what will happen, but what we do know will hopefully happen is that he will get a fair trial this time. Obviously, what happened is tragic, but the law needs to apply to everyone equally. And Judge John Roach, he went on TV bragging, he got it right, he got it right. Well, no, he got it wrong. It was unconstitutional, is what they have figured out. And so he has been recused, and we will get a new judge, and that is great news for Karmelo.
The defense capitalized on the mistake immediately, filing a formal motion to recuse the judge. The matter was handed over to a neutral visiting senior judge named Sid Harle. In a tense hearing, the defense played the full interview tape. Judge Harle reviewed the evidence and made a historic ruling. Judge Roach had to be removed from the case. The visiting senior judge was careful to note that he didn't believe Judge Roach was genuinely malicious or intentionally unfair. However, in the eyes of the law, the appearance of bias is just as damaging as actual bias. To protect the integrity of the judiciary, Roach was officially recused.
Karmelo Anthony has been appointed a new judge on his case, and honestly, it is all the judge's fault. He has to blame himself right now because, y'all, Karmelo had 2 hearings scheduled. Now, the first one was today. This was for the motion he filed to asking for the judge to be recused. The one tomorrow is for the motion he filed asking for a new trial. Now, the thing is, when they had this hearing today, all they really had to do was play the interview that the judge did. The judge did an interview 2 days after Karmelo Anthony had been convicted and sentenced to 35 years in jail, knowing that he had just told Karmelo that he had 30 days to file a motion asking for a new trial. So you told him that yourself. Why the hell would you sit down and do an interview? On top of that, in this interview, he was talking about how he only allowed certain amount of seats inside of the courtroom that was available every day, and it wasn't his job to basically pander to the media or to social media, but yet he hopped on an interview knowing that this guy had the option to file for a new trial. Y'all, in this interview, he's talking about he believed the jurors got it right. He's standing by his decision on not allowing the black jurors because he was following the law. Basically said that he handled this case in all fairness, and the whole court proceedings worked as a well-oiled machine. So you knew the defense attorneys was going to come up and say that you could not be impartial to any of these hearings coming up because, one, you're going to either have to say that you lied in your interview if you disagree with anything that you previously said, or you're going to stick to your interview and not even really take these hearings seriously. Y'all, tomorrow hearing is going to be very interesting because that new judge was appointed immediately. So the new judge will be at the hearing tomorrow to see if Karmelo Anthony gets a new trial. And in my opinion, if he gets a new trial or whatever happens, this judge is going to have a yoke all over his face.
Recused. We out of there. We out of there. We out of there. Y'all log into the Not Guilty boys, man. We about to let y'all know what's going on. The judge has been officially recused. Yep.
What makes this case a permanent textbook study for legal experts is what happened next. The recusal didn't automatically hand Karmelo Anthony a new trial, but it forced the state to bring in outside visiting judge to handle the fallout. This stands as a stark reminder of why the American legal system enforces total neutrality. That's all for now. My name is Alpha. Let me know your thoughts. Also, watch how tension is rising between the DA and Nolan Wall's family over Nolan's cell phone. Click the video on the screen.